Hi, everyone. We have Carah here with us today. Carah, can you tell us your name and your country and state, and tell us about when you first heard the words congenital diaphragmatic hernia?
My name is Carah Hicks. I'm actually from around Springfield, Missouri area, Walnut Grove, technically. I heard the word CDH at our 20-week ultrasound with our little one. We had actually went about a month before and found out he was a boy, and so we had already knew that. It was my early Mother's Day present. And so this was just a general thing. We have two healthy boys at home, and so it never even dawned on me that there would be anything wrong. But being a nurse, I knew something was wrong because they kept scanning his heart, and the first thing I thought was, oh gosh, something's wrong with his heart. And then it took forever for the doctor to come in, and the look on her face definitely told me something was wrong. And it's a small hospital. I actually work for it, and they're amazing. But she said that he was going to have issues and that she had looked it up and it didn't look good. So, of course, I was by myself. My mother-in-law had to leave and my husband had to work, and so that was really hard to know. So that was a really rough day, to say the
Sorry.
least.
How? Um, if you just want to tell us how you planned for the birth and what that was like, and just go through your whole story and tell us.
Okay, sure. So of course, I made sure to call. She put a referral in, but we're actually lucky in Missouri, and we have two hospitals that are equipped for CDH babies. And there's also one in Kansas City, but I chose St. Louis. And with insurance, we chose Children's Hospital, they're amazing there. And so, of course, I took it upon myself to call and found the fetal care center myself and spoke with them, and they were just exceedingly nice and got us in within a month, which is amazing. Of course, we went through all of the testing, the MRIs, and at first they had given him a 50% chance um, because of they couldn't really see very much. But then we actually had gotten a little bit more testing done and found out that it was just his stomach and small intestine that were up that they could see. And they were giving him more of a 65 to 75% chance, which was awesome. Um, so the next few weeks were just crazy, of course, with all the testing, and he was doing his practice breathing. We had done a little benefit to help with some bills. And he decided he was going to come the Tuesday after our benefit. And we took a jet airplane ride to St. Louis. He was born the following day. We wound up having to have a C-section because was not, he was happy in his little hot tub and he didn't want to come down. So we opted to do the safest thing and let him be born C-section. He did great, and he let out this huge cry, which is a big thing, of course, for CDH babies because they said he probably won't cry. And so they took him, of course, right back to the NICU. And it was about 4 hours later, Dr. Najef, who's amazing, one of our main CDH doctors there, came in and said he was having a lot of trouble and his pulmonary hypertension had, peaked pretty bad and that he needed to be put on ECMO. And I was with my mother-in-law, and she, of course, was crying, but I didn't cry because I was prepared for that. Um, of course, when you have a CDH diagnosis, you study it and you study it and you study it. Um, you want to know everything that's going on and what will happen or what could happen. So anyway, we did really well. I found about it was probably about 8 hours after he was born. It was late, and he was hooked up to all the stuff. He was on a paralytic, so that was something we definitely were not prepared for. because he wasn't moving, and it was really hard on my husband seeing him like that because he had seen him when he was first born. You know, when they're looking around and they're like, "What's going on?" And to see them so still, you know, is really hard. The next few days were just lots of family kind of coming in, grandmas and dads, and you know, everybody coming in to see the baby, and just recovering from my C-section. And Saturday night was an amazing night. It was the night before he passed, but he was waking up. He was starting to kind of look around and, you know, squeezing our fingers and moving his little legs. And so we got lots of videos of that. And then Sunday, the 21st of October, he had developed a brain bleed, and that was definitely unexpected. Um, so, of course, they said they had to stop his ECMO. He had a really bad, the cannulas had moved, and so he almost died right there. And so we're sitting in the hallway praying that he does not, you know, die right in front of us. And the they were amazing, and they got him stabilized. And that's when we decided to have him baptized. Um, then they were trying to recruit his lungs, but unfortunately, his good lung collapsed while they were trying to recruit them. So they put a chest tube in, but it was not effective. And that was the decision the doctors gave us was, okay, he's not going to survive off of ECMO. And then you think, oh, you know, what? What? You know, you don't even, it doesn't register. But we thought about it, and we wanted everyone to hold him. So there's an amazing program in Missouri called On Angels Wings, and they actually came and took pictures for us. And because that's the last thing you think of is, oh, I need to take pictures, because, you know, but I'm so glad we have those. But we were able to hold him, and of course I didn't want to let him go. But when we took him off of ECMO, we decided to have just me and Daddy there. Of course, being a nurse, I've seen a lot of people pass. I've been a hospice nurse, so I was prepared for what I've seen, but I was not prepared for my own son to pass away in my arms. But he was so peaceful, and I know that he didn't suffer.
I'm so sorry, Carr. I can't imagine.
Thank you.
I can't imagine doing that for a living
Yeah,
and then
it was definitely a challenge, but I know that it also prepared me because when you work in hospice and you work in the medical field, um, you know that there's suffering here on earth and there's no suffering in heaven, in my opinion. But it was nice. We got to do a lot of the things. I mean, of course, I got to give him a bath and see all of him, and because that's something you don't see whenever your baby's in the NICU. They won't even let you change their diaper. So it's kind of like, well, wait, I haven't even got to see all of him yet. And so we got to do that, and of course let us hold him as long as we wanted to. But it was definitely a very humbling and very rough day to have the night before him do so well, and then that's the crazy thing about CDH is you just never know.
no, you really don't. It's definitely a roller coaster. That's an understatement, but wow. I'm so sorry for your loss. I really am, and
Thank
I so appreciate you sharing him with us. We're honored to be
you.
able to tell his
Thank
story.
you. He's
Is
a beautiful boy.
I'm sure. Um, Make sure you send us a photo so that everyone can see
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I will.
Um, but is there anything you would like to tell other parents? Any advice for those families who have to say goodbye, or advice for those who are diagnosed in utero and who are waiting for the birth? Anything you wish you would have known?
The biggest piece of advice I can give is just to take as many pictures and videos before birth, after birth, because I'm so thankful we took those videos the night before. Otherwise, we wouldn't have them. And I always tell, I have some friends that have survivor babies, and I told them, they're like, I'm so glad you told me to take pictures. And I'm like, there's plenty of time to go through and delete what you don't want. It's just so nice to have pictures of everything with him. Take his little pictures of his ears and their little dimples in their fingers, everything, just little things like that. The only thing I wish I would have known was the percentage of babies that have brain bleeds. Of course, with ECMO, that's something that they say, okay, they may have a brain bleed, but they don't really focus on that. So that's why I think it was so shocking that he had one. And I know that I've checked with a few other family members through like some of the support websites and through Cherubs. And just there's not too many that I can find that was the cause. But I just have to think that God took him because the brain bleed would have been so hard on him that he wouldn't have, had a good life. And I don't, it's hard. I've worked with pediatric home health patients too, and children that have a lot of problems. And of course, every baby is a blessing, but I would not want my child to suffer in any way. And so that's one thing I can be thankful for, as hard as it was to let him go, that we did not have to have him suffer like that.
Yeah, it's hard either way. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
Because I've been on both sides, and
Yes.
it's nothing's easy. There's nothing
No.
easy, and there's nothing about
And
it
some of the
fair.
worst, I think the hardest thing was too, like a lot of the families say, the percentages don't matter because, of course, with Brian, he had a very good chance of survival, and unfortunately, he didn't survive. And I mean, there's some babies that have no chance that they say, and they do great, they excel. So that's one of the hardest things I think about CDH too, is it's definitely a monster. It affects you in so many different ways, and every baby in a different way. There's really no way to prepare until they're ready to come out and fight, which they all fight, even if they just make it an hour or they make it for life. They fight no matter what. So that's the biggest thing.
Well, Cara, thank you so much for doing this, and while you're working, no less, to come out
That's okay.
and do this and sharing his story. And we really appreciate it, and we're glad to have you as part of the big share of CDH International family, though we wish you weren't at the same time. But thank
Yes, thank you
you.
so much. Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, Aaron Watson here. April 19th is International Congenital Diaphragmatic Hernia Awareness Day. CDH affects thousands of kids every year. So I want to encourage everyone to go over to cdhi.org and learn more about it and find ways that you can help out. God bless. Happy CDH Day.
Hey everybody, it's Randy Couture. April 19th is International Congenital Diaphragmatic Hernia Awareness Day. CDH affects thousands of kids each year, 1 in every 10 minutes, and the survival rate is about 50%. The cause is unknown, pretty serious issue. There's a telethon being held for charity, https://cdhi.org/2019 CDH Telethon /. Again, all the funds from that telethon are going to go for research and development, trying to find a cure for this, for CDH. So